welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd do something a little different today. I haven't made a financial video in a while, so I figured today would be the day because I heard some inspiring news. So rewind the clock back a little bit. So I was riding with my co-worker. Oh, look at this dude. Riding with my co-worker, and he was telling me, we were talking about investing. And we were talking about, 401ks, crypto, single stock, those type of things people are into these days. And I told him, I said, with crypto, I said, when it came out, I said, there were so many people excited about it. I didn't know anything about it. And so I just didn't put any money into it. And so he was telling me about, crypto and single stocks and stuff like that. And he was talking about with those things, he lost money over the years. But he didn't put a lot of his money in those things, but he did put a lot of his money in the 401k. And he told me that his dad was able to retire early. He told me that his dad, when he was working, he was a janitor all his life, but he had a 401k, and he basically maxed out his 401k. I wish I knew what the max was at that time, because right now I believe it's around $19,000. But anyways, he told him his dad maxed out his 401k, and his dad retired at 50. Now in 2025 the rules are it's 59 and a half, but I guess it was different back then. But anyways, it was just a telling story that you don't need to have 6 degrees and climb the corporate ladder so high to quote unquote have a good life. I mean, the money that him and his wife was making, they were able to tuck so much away and then just go live the rest of their life. And if you want to work until you're 75 years old running through traffic, I mean, that's fine with me if that's what you want to do, but I would like to, enjoy my life before the diseases kick in, you know what I'm saying? And then you're stuck in a hospital bed or stuck at home with a nurse or something. But it just, I haven't maxed out my retirement yet, but I do want to, as time goes on, I do want to, put more money into it. And that's one thing I would tell somebody that that's a bit younger than me. When as soon as you can, get your 401k, get a brokerage account, and there's nothing wrong with a new car or a nice house or the new Switch. There's nothing wrong with those things, but get those things slowly. Take care of yourself. This economy, it's better than it was previous year, but man, there's still people right now getting fired. I've known people who's been fired on vacation. They've been fired the day they walked in. They put their lunch in the refrigerator, and then all of a sudden, hey, come in the office, we don't need you. Go get your stuff. And then you just walked out, So I've known people who's been fired. Or I heard this couple, they work for Google, and from what they said, that the wife couldn't log in and the husband couldn't log in, and they thought it was some kind of networking issue or something, or maybe the router was down. But no, they were both fired that day, and she was pregnant. So man, if I could stress to anyone, please get your house in order. Get your match, get your 401k, have a plan with your money. Just don't randomly go out and just spend so much money that that you're looking for the next pay period. And so a lot of people just don't do that. And so he was telling me, his dad invested in his 401k, and so he invested a lot of his money. He might have put some money in the wrong things, but he told me once he got fired, and when he got fired, he has 2 kids. I think he has 2 kids, and wife, of course, is still married. But anyways, he was living off of his brokerage account, and I'm like, wouldn't that be nice, you get fired, they give you a little severance package, and then, you know, with that severance package, you know, you're looking for your next job, but then you also, let's just, you know, let's just say you had 50, 60,000 in the brokerage account. So if you don't know what a brokerage account is, it's basically, to make it simple, it's sort of like you're investing in the stock market, but the rules are a little bit different than the 401k. So in the brokerage account, you can put any money. There's no limit to amount of money you can put in there, excuse me. And you can just load it up as much as you want, 10, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. Let that compound interest roll, you know, as the years go by, you know. And then if you so happen to get laid off and they give you a severance package and you have, let's just say, 80 grand sitting in your brokerage account, and there's no penalty to take that money out to maybe pay on your mortgage or you know, pay on your debt or whatever you had going on at the time, well, now it's a bump in the road, you know what I'm saying? So I'd rather a bump in the road than have no, I want to call it like a, I guess, I forget what you call those things, but, well, don't worry about it. Anyways, I'd rather have there we go. I'd rather have some type of a safety net than nothing. You know, there's foreclosures happening every single day because somebody thought, I have this degree, I work at so-and-so company, you know, last quarter we did great, last year we did great, I'm fine, nothing's going to happen to me. So I can go out and get this, you know, house, this big house that I don't need, and these cars that are nice cars, but, you know, I'm going into debt for them, and then I have all this debt and credit card debt around me. But as long as I work at this nice company, you know, I'm fine, I'm protected. Well, I've been living on my own for a while. That's not true at all. I mean, I could be fired Monday. You just never know. You know, they don't tell you that. They just walk you out the door. Or you at home and you're trying to sign on to your computer, and all of a sudden it's now, you know, why can't I connect? You know, my phone is hooked up to my router and my phone's working. What's wrong with my laptop? What's going on? Oh yeah, we don't need you. So, you know, what I would say, like I said before, get your house in order. And if you don't know what steps to take after college or after you get us, you know, maybe a certification or trade school or whatever your education is, please have a plan with your money. Those nice things that you want, that we all love, they'll be there, and they're making a newer version of that nice item to make that item look like trash. So don't worry about it. So get your house in order and get a big safety net, because life throws you many curveballs. I remember, and I'm gonna have to go in a little bit, I remember I was at work and I had a MRSA infection that just came out of the blue. I'm like, well, what is that and how did I get it? And anyways, you know, I needed surgery. And after the surgery, they were like, well, my boss was like, well, you still got to come into work. And I'm like, well, I can't come into work because I just had surgery. And then bam, I was fired. You know, they didn't want to wait on me. And even though the guys at work were saying, you know, man, I was a good worker, you know, he got a doctor's note, just give him time, you know, can you just give him, you know, a month so his body can heal, you know? Because I still had the, you know, the scar wasn't, you know, the wound wasn't even closed yet, and they was trying to get me to come back to work, and I'm like, no, you gotta understand, the wound has to close, and then I have to get stitches and all that. And so, you know, they didn't care. Life moves on. They had to do what they had to do. And so at the time I had a little safety, like I said, safety net, or some people call it emergency fund. And so I'm sitting in my apartment, you know, I can, you know, I'm hobbling around the house, but guess what? I don't have to worry about how I'm gonna eat or can I keep my apartment, you know. I'm not worried about being kicked out because I had that safety net. So I just wanted to share this story with you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. I got some things to do. So get that safety net, and I highly recommend, if you don't already know, the 7 Baby Steps by Dave Ramsey, and that'll get you a good start after you finish your schooling. Okay, life is too short to be stressed. See you later.